You're currently in a spiritually abusive church and you're trying to overcome that. You're trying to actually know if you're crazy or if what you're saying is real. You might be wanting to escape. That's what you're going to do. To overcome spiritual abuse, you first need to understand what does the Bible say. Doesn't take much. It's just two verses, two parts of the Bible you need to look at. 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. This is empowering because it says God has not given us the spirit of fear. You need to understand that many people are vulnerable and fearful. It is why it's so easy for them to be dominated by authority. And this can be expressed and seen when somebody uses the fact that they are a pastor, they are a leader, they are in a position of authority within a church, within a religious institute, and they use that to manipulate you, to control narratives, to shame, and all this is ultimately for this person's dominance. The second part would be Psalm 17, 10 to 13. Now this is where it speaks on people speaking boastfully, pridefully. The only thing that comes out of their mouth is prideful statements. This person only speaks boastfully and pridefully to exalt themselves and what they possess. This usually comes in the age-old prosperity gospel. This may also come in your pastor mocking other religious sects within Christianity, not even just mocking Islamic people, the Hindu, or even the Jewish, but they actively go and mock other Christian religions, saying that no, what they practice is wrong, what they practice is wrong, and the only thing they're teaching is that their church is the best church, not that the church of Jesus Christ, being within Christ, is a good church. These people will often commit eisegesis. They see themselves in the Bible. You hear more about themselves and their experiences rather than what you'll hear what the Bible actually says. You'll be learning about who they are and why they are so important, not really learning about Jesus Christ. Next is your escape plan. You first need to understand there is a difference. Some things can be done in God's name, but not in God's will. This is in 1 Peter 5:3. There are so many instances. We can even go straight to how Christianity actually ended up in many different countries through colonialism and oppression of many societies, where many people will actually question, why was this done? We can understand that it is God's will for his word to be spread, but the nature of how it goes about is most important. What was being done was not in God's name. It was done in the essence of taking ownership, taking control, spiritually abusing people that did not know who God was, fear-mongering him. The second part would be you need to always seek a second opinion. 1 John chapter 4 verse 1, Proverbs 11:14. You need to first of all have somebody that can actually give you the outside perspective, explain what's going on. Don't become an echo chamber to yourself. Maybe what you're seeing is an exaggeration because you're too deep in it. You're just there. You're too deep in the mix that a second opinion could actually help you understand, is this an issue with a particular person, or is this an issue with the entire church? Maybe it doesn't even have to be a person that is within your church, with even in Christianity. You explain the situation, because all abuse is abuse, whether it's spiritual, physical, or emotional. It all is the same in some way or another. And this takes us to your step 3. You need to take a step back. Proverbs 4 verse 23. You need to put yourself in a position to no longer be emotionally charged and overwhelmed. You're too deep in it already. That you might make the emotional decision to stay. You might make the emotional decision to try and expose the entire church, only for you to go about doing it the wrong way and saying things that weren't accurate. You over-exaggerate things. Some people under-exaggerate and they end up staying in this cycle of, I want to leave, I want to go, I want to leave. Take that step back. Take a moment to just sit in the church away from people. If that means you must leave church early, leave church early. If that means you need to sit away from the people that are abusing you, move away from them. Give yourself the opportunity to actually observe. From then comes the healing process. You need to understand healing takes time. I understand how exciting it may be to church hop and you keep going to a church that tells you exactly what you need to hear. Stop that. You need to stop that. You are teaching yourself a bad habit that when it gets tough in your church, oh, I'm going to leave, go to another one. You're teaching yourself that there's always something else waiting for you. You're never giving God the opportunity to allow you to grow in a church or outgrow a church. Number two, you need to manage your expectations. You can't expect everything from everybody. You cannot keep trying to turn this church into your life. You need to understand church is a community, it is a gathering. You're going there to gather with other people that are also trying to get closer to Christ. That means you understand that there are people with some very serious issues. There are people that are going to agitate and trigger you consistently. You need to expect them to do that so that you do not change what God has there for you. You need to expect people to be themselves. People are sinners. People will lie. People will be prideful. People will boast. People will try to manipulate you. Some people will love you. Some people will want to take care of you. This is where you get to understand that not everyone is unsafe. There are people that are good for you. There are people that will want to help you. But you need to give it time and you need to lower your expectations so you're not expecting too much from people that they don't even know you. They don't even know whether you're going to be offended by them or not. Next, you need to keep close to God the moment you step out of that church. This is now for the people that actually took the step and went out. You need to stay close to God. You need to be in your way. You need to be praying. Because now you're out there. Now you can easily adopt doctrines. You need to understand that if you're not careful, that's why you find people, they stay in churches that are abusive for many years, and they adopt doctrines that they shouldn't have. So you need to ensure that you don't do that while you're outside of a church. And the most important thing, Jesus does love you, and he doesn't expect you to keep suffering. There's nothing glorious about choosing to be abused. Nothing. Jesus' sacrifice served a purpose. That doesn't mean you need to get whipped. That doesn't mean you need your own crown of thorns just to prove that Jesus died for your sins. He did all of that. He did all the suffering. He endured all the abuse. Jesus also called many things out. He stood up for people. He stood up for himself at times. You also need to adopt that. It's not just about suffering. Christianity, no religion is just about suffering, because if that was the case, then there would be no need to have one, to have a religion. Human life isn't just about suffering. It's about standing up, knowing what you deserve, knowing your boundaries. Don't let other people define your perspective of God. You've got to know it. You've got to go and put in the effort and actually learn. So, if you have any more questions for me, make sure to drop them in the comments and I'll get right back to them.